leader, Gilles Panizzi, and only 1 minute covers the top 6 cars. Grunholm has his focus on the championship, but would dearly love the win. Panizzi, meanwhile, showed why he is the Earl of Asphalt, taking 4 of 5 stages. With all of the major players still in the game, who will crack first? Leg 2 of the Tour de Corse is next. Island of Corsica, birthplace of the Emperor Napoleon and home to round 3 of the World Rally Championship. Hi everybody, I'm your host Ralph Shaheen. Thousands of twists and turns make the first dry asphalt event of the season a particularly tough test of man and machine. The island lies to the south of the French mainland, around 60 miles east of the Italian coastline. Much smaller than its near neighbor Sardinia, Corsica's mountains play host to the rally's 16 stages, spread out over the 3 days and centered around a single service park on the outskirts of the capital, Ajaccio. Has a reputation for cruelly punishing even the smallest error. Colin McRae was lucky to escape a huge accident here 2 years ago, while Tommy Mäkinen's regular co-driver, Risto Männisämäki, is still recovering from injuries he received in this crash last October. No such problems on day 1 this year, which was dominated by Peugeot. Gilles Panizzi was quickest on 4 of the 5 stages, while Marcus Grunholm set the fastest time on the other and was in second place. Reigning world champion Richard Burns was 3rd. Subaru's Tommy Mäkinen ended the day in 4th, but lost a few seconds on the day's first stage for an unusual reason.
The hairpin was our last note, and I thought it is end of the stage, and I couldn't see anything. I wonder what is going on.
His teammate Petter Solberg looked to be the only driver able to threaten the Peugeots until he made a slight mistake on stage 4. 50 seconds lost meant Solberg would end the day in 6th place. The day's last stage was run in heavy rain, and so the Ford team was able to claw back some of the time they'd lost in the drive. Carlos Sainz headed their challenge in 5th place. But there was no denying who was the star of the day.
Fantastic day for me and for Peugeot also, because I think 3 cars in the first position, it's good.
After the first day, Panizzi's lead might have only been 3 seconds, but Peugeot's occupied all the top 3 places. The Subaru and Ford drivers knew that Pirelli tires would work better in the rain than in the sunshine and went to bed praying for a cloudburst. Coming up, a few teams opt for some last-minute changes. Will they be right or wrong? The answer when we return. Welcome back to day 2 of the Tour de Corse. When the teams arrived at the first service of the day, it looked as though the Pirelli team's prayers had been answered. With threatening skies, the team soon had to decide if the first long stage would remain damp or become soaked. While the Pirelli technicians were hard at work at both Ford and Subaru, their Michelin counterparts were offering advice to Peugeot.
According to them.
According to them. Make the show love in your head.
We get some more area here.
The choice, it seemed, was clear. A slick tire if you thought the rain would hold off, an intermediate pattern if you thought it wouldn't. In practice, though, the decision was far from simple.
It's not so easy we can make easily right choice or easily wrong choice. It is very difficult.
I think my choice is the mixed tires, little bit for rain.
I've no idea. I don't know what the forecast is. There's some light rain maybe, but is it enough to take a rain tire? I don't know.
In the end, Marcus Grunholm went for an intermediate, as did Panizzi, Mäkinen, and Solberg. A last-minute panic suggested a change of heart by Burns, who joined McRae and Sainz on slicks with an extra cut around the circumference of the tire.
What is very important when it's wet, the car and the driver are more important than the tire. When it's dry, the tires make a big difference.
We wouldn't have to wait long to see who was right in their choices. 7 stages made up day 2, with a repeat of the rally's longest to start. A batch of 3 shorter stages would then be repeated, a total of 93 miles. The weather, though, would be the day's main talking point. The clouds covering the mountaintop certainly looked as though the predicted rain wasn't far away. The top 15 A-seeded drivers run in reverse order on days 2 and 3 this year. So Hyundai's Armin Schwartz was one of the first to find out just how slippery the damp tarmac was. Kenneth Eriksson and co-driver Tina Turner would also fall afoul of the same corner. Have a listen.
100. Höger 5 kort 100. Litet krön, håll höger, break 20, hårdhåll vänster. 20 höger 5 plus.
Eriksson calmly engages reverse, and then it's back to business as usual.
Vänster 5 break, 40 twisty, öppen, hårdhåll höger, clean end. 20. Vänster 4 not inside. I höger 5 kort 2 gånger. I vänster 5 till krön, höger 4 minus kort. Till vänster 2 plus.
Meanwhile, Ford's 21-year-old Belgian sensation, Francois Duval, showed his new teammates just how it should be done. He was fastest of all 4 of the Ford Focuses, 5th on stage 6, and by now, 10th overall. Philippe Bugalski's position on the road on day 1, plus an exhaust problem, meant that his Citroën was well over a minute down on the Peugeots of Benizzi and Grunholm. He was 4th fastest on stage 6, however, so his charge of the leaderboard was underway. The tires to have, it quickly became clear, were intermediates, not the cut slicks that McRae had chosen. 10th fastest on the stage, McRae and co-driver Nicky Grist hadn't taken advantage of the rain and dropped a place to 8th. Co-drivers don't get a whole lot of time to check out their surroundings. But now, looking around isn't even an option for Colin McRae's co-driver, Nicky Grist. After a week of testing, the Ford team has made some changes in the seating position of their Focus. If you look, you'll notice Grist on the left is lower than McRae. That's because the team decided that it needed to lower the center of gravity on the car. So they've now got Grist's seat mounted directly to the floor. Now, Grist can barely see out of the windshield.
6 right line, 50, long 3 left.
Petter Solberg's tire choice, on the other hand, was perfect. He was fastest, his achievement accompanied by the rhythmic voice of Phil Mills.
Opens 50, 5 left, 40, 4 right minus half, long tightens 3, slippy maybe. Opens 60, slippy braking, 6 right plus of a bump 30, 1 left plus slippy. Half long, opens 30, 4 right plus, opens 50, half 3 right plus tightens. Long and opens 80, slow 2 left minus, into turn, tight hairpin right, handbrake. Opens 30.
Listen to how smoothly Solberg gets back on the gas and accelerates out of the corner.
150. Flat 6 right, opens 100. Line into 4 right minus tightens. Opens 100. Early 6 right plus 40, slippy 3 left plus. Opens 40. Flat 4 right plus, opens 60. Flat 6 right into 6 left plus of a crest, opens 60. Late 1 left plus of a bridge, slippy maybe. Opens.
If you sneak a peek over Phil Mills' shoulder, you can get a look at the route book.
80.
Only Phil Mills could decipher it.
Right, opens 50. 5 left, 40, 4 right minus half, long tightens 3, slippy maybe, open 60, slippy braking, 6 right plus of a bump 30, 1 left plus, slippy, half long, opens 30, 4 right plus, opens 50, half 3 right plus tightens, into 3 left plus, opens 40, line into half 4 right, 60, slippy maybe 3 right plus, opens long, keep in, 30 slippy entry, 1 left plus fast, tightens, 30.
Solberg was particularly pleased to win the long stage 6. Even if he seemed a little surprised at the finish, his tires still smoking.
It's very good, no problem at all. Just very, very slippery sometimes. Correct tire choice. Okay, yeah.
Well, Solberg wasn't the only one flying on stage 6, and that means Peugeot's stranglehold on the top 3 looks like it may be in jeopardy. More action from Corsica coming right up. Stay with us. Carlos Sainz, 9th fastest on stage 6, dropped from 5th to 6th behind Solberg, thanks to his decision to take a slick tire on the stage.
Para izquierda rápido José Estarrás, con fe, para uno, derecha buena más, ras, sucia, para uno, izquierda buena más, poco tarde, acaba caliente, se cierra, abrirse uno.
Tommy Mäkinen, like his teammate, had also opted for intermediates and also took over 30 seconds off Sainz. The Subaru 1-2 also meant that Peugeot no longer held all 3 of the podium positions.
Oikein aukee, heti jatkuu oikein, 4 huomio, pitkä koikee, miinus, tiukka suppu, 4, serpo vasen.
Richard Burns was another who was kicking himself for that late change of heart. 7th quickest, he and co-driver Robert Reed dropped from 3rd to 4th on the leaderboard.
20k left minus low, to k left, 50, medium right plus, tight inside, medium right minus 9 maybe, 20.
Marcus Grunholm and Timo Rautanen fared a little better, but not much. The pair were only 6th fastest.
8, oikein eri sumppuun, oikein täys ja vasen täys, 8, vasen hidas silta.
The best of the Peugeots was, surprise, surprise, Gilles Panizzi, 3rd behind the 2 Subarus.
50 mètres, droite à fond bref.
Despite being slowed at the end of the stage by a tire which was almost off the wheel rim, Panizzi's lead was now back up to over 13 seconds once again.
100 mètres, droite 90, un peu long. 50 mètres, gauche 85 long. 100 mètres, droite à fond court. 100 mètres, droite et 10 mètres, ferme 85.
The numbers on the dash indicating which gear Panizzi is in.
50 mètres, droite à fond bref. 20 mètres, gauche 90 long.
Watch his hands feverishly but smoothly working the wheel.
60 mètres, droite 90. Droite à fond, 60 mètres, droite 90.
Notice how Gilles keeps a relaxed but firm grip on the wheel.
Gauche 95, 30 mètres, ferme 85, un peu long. Gauche 95, presque plus bref. Droite 95 plus, 2 coups. Dans gauche 90 plus. Dans droite 90. Sur gauche 90. Dans droite à fond long, 60 mètres. Droite 95, presque plus. 50 mètres. Gauche 85, un peu long. Gauche à fond bref.
Gilles' 2 biggest fans, his wife and daughter, were at the end of the stage to wave their encouragement. So for the first time, the Peugeot drivers didn't have things their own way. Mäkinen was now up to 3rd and Solberg up to 5th after stage 6. Behind the point-scoring places, Philippe Bukalski was now 7th ahead of the Ford trio of McRae, Marco Martin, and Francois Duval.
Petter, a great tyre choice there has given you your first stage win of the rally.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I was really looking forward to the rain now, and the car is working perfect. So yeah.
Colin, it seems to have gone from bad to worse this morning.
Yeah, it was. This was our chance to make up a bit of time. Sadly, it went the other way. It wasn't a disaster, but it still wasn't a good choice. we took a bit of a gamble, which if the weather had stayed as it was, would have been the right tyre, but unfortunately it started to rain on the way up to the stage, so we just spent the whole stage trying to keep heating the tyre.
Not so wet. Yeah. Richard, you're not looking too happy. Wrong tyre choice.
No, not really. No, we only lost 2 seconds to Marcus, who was on the intermediate. We were on quite a heavily cut slick, and it was quite soft, so it wasn't really the wrong tyre.
Tommy, third overall now. Great tyre choice on the last stage.
Yes, it was very good. We chose normal slick tyre, which we were open a little bit, and it was working very well.
Sometimes the road was not clean, and maybe a rock, or I don't know exactly. But it was in the end of the stage. It was difficult for me to turn in the left corner.
On the way to stage 7, the team radios discussed just one topic.
Sales on that. Give me another update, please. We're over stage 7 at the moment, and we've got light rain here. The road looks damp, a little bit shiny on 7.
Carlos, it's still very, very light drizzle, very, very light rain, and the surface is still damp to humid, okay?
The road surface was indeed damp to humid, but the rain had stopped. Freddie Loinks was the quicker of the 2 remaining Hyundais, 8th fastest, but still 16th overall. Colin McRae fared much better on stage 7, 2nd fastest, and must have been cursing his earlier tire decision. Still 8th overall, the Focus was now exactly 10 seconds behind Philippe Bugalski's Citroën Xara.
And 3 right plus line, and very long slow 4 left tightens, into 6 right, 30, 6 left don't cut, and clear 6 right into 3 right don't cut.
Take a look to the right and see how much lower Nicky Grist is sitting compared to the driver, Colin McRae.
And 6 right into 3 left minus, 30, 3
This seating position could change again depending on the racing surface each and every week.
And 5 right plus opens, and 4 right plus opens, 30, 6 right over jump maybe.
Grist claims it makes no difference to him. He doesn't spend much time looking up anyway.
120. 6 left over crest.
They say Colin McRae is one of the most naturally gifted World Rally drivers of all time. Just watching his hands gives you an idea why they say that.
4 plus. And 6 left minus, and 3 right opens. 70. 5 right plus opens. 100.
This time it was Petter Solberg's turn to choose the wrong tire. Only 9th fastest due to too soft of a compound. He must have hoped they would work on the next pair of stages which followed.
Line into short 4, right plus, opens 40, tighten short 3, don't cut. Keep straight over 60, 6 right into flat 5 left, slippy maybe, 80, short 5 right, open 60.
Carlos Sainz took a gamble on slick tires, and that looked to have cost precious seconds. 7th fastest on the stage, Bugalski was now just over 4 seconds behind. The majority of drivers had opted for intermediate tires. They'd worked brilliantly for Tommy Mäkinen on the previous stage, and he went with a similar choice for this one.
Oikein, sumppu heti oikaisen vasen urassa, 10 huomio, pidon pitkä oikein nopea, kirraa pahasti. Lyhyt, helppo oikein plus 4.
On this occasion, however, all 3 Peugeots and McRae's Ford went faster than the Subaru.
Flat right, to right max 40, medium right plus, and cut straight, 50 flat left in, and flat left It's a big cut flat left, tight and 20 key right plus low.
Richard Burns took over a second and a half off Mäkinen's time through the 6-mile stage, moving to within 7.5 seconds of retaking 3rd.
Medium left into medium left low, 50, slow medium left line, 20 flat right, 50 left max, 20 flat left, slippy in, to flat right in, slippy maybe, 20 braking flat right, slippy maybe 40, medium right, 10 medium right plus stone, 30 flat left, 30 medium right plus tightens, 20 medium left in low.
Marcus Grunholm was just half a second quicker than his still learning new teammate. But more importantly, the Peugeot domination of the rally looked to be back on track after losing its way a little in the rain of the day's opening stage. Normal service had indeed resumed. Fastest on the stage was a 2:06 of Gilles and Hervé Panizzi, the pair setting their 5th fastest time for 7 stages. Listen in.
Droite 95. Dans gauche, droite 95. Donc gauche à fond, pleine corde. Droite 95 de long. Sur gauche 90. Sur droite à fond. Gauche 95, long, ferme léger. Pour droite à fond, 60 mètres. Gauche 100 plus. Pour droite à fond, bref. 50 mètres face au mur, droite 95 long. Pour gauche à fond, bref, 20 mètres, fond 95 long. Pour droite à fond, 20 mètres. Gauche 90 plus, bref. Droite 90. Pour gauche à fond, 2 coups. Sur droite à fond, 30 mètres, fond 95.
Even though the roads are tarmac, notice how they're not nearly perfect in condition.
20 mètres, gauche 90 long. 200 mètres. Gauche à fond.
So at 2 stages down, it looked like only the right tire choice and some luck to get someone close to the Peugeots. But whose side would Mother Nature be on? Some tough conditions lie just ahead. Stage 8 of the Rally of France would be rerun later in the day as Stage 11. The 12 miles of snaking tarmac started in the village of Vero. The first 5 miles or so climbed around 400 feet above sea level at the stage's highest point before the gradual descent into the valley on the other side, and the stage finish in Point Diazana. Low clouds meant visibility at the summit was down to around just 90 feet. For the second stage in a row, the 4 drivers took full advantage of the conditions. Colin McRae was 4th fastest. Even with the poor visibility inside the car, it's business as usual.
Over narrow bridge. 30, right keep out, and 3 right plus. And 6 left tightens, and 3 right plus opens. Into 3 left tightens, don't cut, and long 3 right minus, don't cut.
In these types of weather conditions on a normal highway, you'd look for a place to pull off. Nicky Grist and driver Colin McRae looking for precious tenths of a second.
30, 3 left plus line. And long 3 right. Into 4 left plus opens. 30, long 5 left plus line. And long 4 right. Into 2 left minus tightens, long don't cut. 30, 6 left, tightens line, into slow 4 right, opens. Into 4 right plus opens, and long 6 left minus, don't cut. Into 6 right opens, 50.
When Nicky Grist yells out don't cut, that means don't cut the apex, the center of the corner too tight. Try to keep the car on the road.
6 right minus and 3 left, cut. Into 1 right, don't cut.
But again, the 2 Subarus were let down by the tire choice. Petter Solberg only 9th quickest. Carlos Sainz and Luis Moya were 2nd fastest.
Para izquierda rápido, ojo de tierra poco, para derecha rápido, ojo corta de tierra, acaba derecha, acaba posible cuarta de tierra y se abre, abrirse.
The Spaniards were now less than 10 seconds behind Solberg and looked set to snatch his 5th place on the next stage. Tommy Mäkinen and Kai Lindstrom looked to have been quick off the start line, but they quickly began to lose time soon afterwards. We'll be looking in greater detail at the start in a minute or so.
Pitkä helppo oikee, 7, pitkä serpo vasen, kirraa ihan vähän. Ja pitkäkö oikee miinus tiukka.
First though, there's a very good reason for showing you this onboard video from Richard Byrne's car away from the start. Even though the Englishman was only 3rd fastest on the stage, again, all will be explained in a few moments.
Right max, the flat right 70, K left, long, 10 K left, minus. The slow K left, 20, medium right.
For the 2nd stage in a row, it was Byrne's teammate, Gilles Panizzi, who was fastest. extending his lead to over 26 seconds.
Gauche 90 long, 60 mètres, droite langue 90, à la maison, bon, gauche à fond, dans droite 95 presque plus, gauche 95 long soulage, sur droite 95 long soulage.
Now this is where the virtual spectator system really comes into its own. If we look at the first 45 seconds or so of Stage 8 and compare the performances of all 4 cars off the start line, we can see exactly where drivers make up, or more importantly, lose time. Our 4 drivers in this case are Panizzi, Burns, Sainz, and Mäkinen. And up to the first hairpin, there's nothing to separate the 4. But just look at the blue car. Mäkinen, with a different tire choice, hasn't got the same amount of grip as the others and starts to lag behind. Accelerating away, they're again hard to split. But the same thing happens again away from this long open hairpin and again on the 90-degree left-hander which follows. Burns is actually the quickest over the opening kilometer, with Panizzi just ahead of Sainz, and Mäkinen already starting to drop back. So after Stage 8, it looked like Burns would soon be back into the top 3. Meanwhile, Sainz and Solberg could soon have their own battle for 4th. Stage 9 was the 3rd and final stage in the batch of 3, so the Subarus would soon be able to change their tires. Grip, however, wasn't the cause of the problem for Freddie Loix in the Hyundai. Stalling the accident cost precious seconds, but Loix was languishing down in 15th place in any case. Solberg's rally was about to go from bad to worse.
Opens 30. 5 right to keep in, opens into flat short, 5 left, opens 60, don't cut short, 5 right, into 4 left fast, tightens keep in, and don't cut slippy, maybe 3 right fast, into 3 left, opens 40, line into 3 left minus, tightens half long, and line into 2 right plus half long, no, puncture, tightens slippy, gravel, 1 plus.
The puncture meant Petter was only 13th fastest, and he dropped to 7th place behind Mikulski as a result.
Extra long.
Mäkinen again lost time to the Peugeots and Fords, and like his colleague, had also dropped a place on the leaderboard. The 4-time world champ was now 4th. After gaining around 23 seconds from Richard Burns on the day's opening stage, Mäkinen had lost 21 on the next 3, and so is right back where he'd started. Watch as he uses every available amount of road possible.
Ja pitkä oikein nopea, 100. Oikein ja lyhyt K vasen plus, aukee heti helppo 4. Pitkä K vasen.
Notice how bone-jarring the ride is every time Mäkinen dips a wheel off the tarmac. That'll give you an idea how tightly sprung the suspension is.
Aukee heti 4. Pitkä oikein nopea plus, kirraa vähän, heti tosi pitkä vasen nopea plus, helppo. Aukee vähän. Ja vasen 4, pitkä oikein nopea plus. Ja huomio, pitkä vasen nopea plus, helppo, kirraa vähän ja kapenee. 2 serpo oikein. Ja vasen nopea plus aukee. Ja pirun pitkä K oikein, kirraa. Heti pirun pitkä K vasen, tiukka aukee ja kirraa vähän. Ja pitkä K oikein, heti K vasen miinus tiukka aukee heti. 100.
To Burns' delight, it was the number 1 Peugeot, his, which set the fastest time on stage 9. It was his first stage win for his new team.
Left, 20 flat right cut to flat left opens 40, slightly braking 60, fast left minus long, and fast left 50, fast left plus 30 braking medium left, plus 20 braking medium right plus, and medium right minus in, 20 fast left, 10 medium right plus cut sand, 60 left max, 60 braking, slight left 50, flat left 60, medium left plus, and medium left plus, long, to flat left 20, medium right.
Apparently nobody on Team Peugeot blinks.
20, medium right, long, to easy left, open 40, K right plus, and K right, 40, flat left, braking, and flat left, 40, medium left.
The look on Burns' face suggests he couldn't have gone much quicker even if he'd wanted to. Nearly 4 seconds slower than Burns was Panizzi, claiming that he'd had brake problems for the last 10 kilometers, while Grönholm had driven cautiously and was only 6th fastest. No matter, it was an all-Peugeot top 3 once again. So Burns reclaims 3rd, while Sainz jumps into a solid 5th. Afterward, Mäkinen was visibly worn out.
Tommy, you lost quite a lot of time on the last 3 stages. What happened there?
We changed our tire after first stage. We had very good performance, and then we went to the different tire, which was different construction, and it changed completely car balance.
Petter, you've now dropped out of the points. What happened on the last stage?
Well, unfortunately we took a little bit too soft tire, but that's not the main problem. We had a puncture on the last stage. I thought it was a suspension, but it was a puncture.
Richard, you talked about getting that confidence yesterday. You've just won the last stage. Not bad.
No, it was really good. Just a good clean run. I pushed quite hard through it. I know the stage quite well, and really, I mean, the tyres, the car, everything just worked really well all the way through. We had to be a little bit careful in the end because the brake pedal was getting quite soft. The brakes were overheating, and the pedal was nearly to the floor. So a little bit careful in the end, but apart from that, it was good.
Well, if grip hasn't been a problem enough today, when the skies open up, things get a little, well, we'll have more on that in a minute. Stay with us to find out. Stages 10, 11, and 12 of the Tour de Corse were repeats of the previous 3. But this time around, the skies had opened. Armin Schwartz saw no repeat of his earlier spin. In fact, his new generation Hyundai was 4th fastest on stage 10. Now sporting a new set of tires, Petter Solberg stormed through the stage, setting the quickest time, his 2nd stage win of the day. But the news wasn't all good for Subaru. On the same tires as Solberg, Tommi Mäkinen should have been equally as quick. He was, up to a point.
Heti pirun pitkä paha oikee aukee. Ja pitkä K oikee plus ja vasen eri plus ja huomio spoori pitkä K oikee plus sumppu vähän kapee. 100. Lyhyt oikeeri kirraa, helppo, heti pitkä vasen eri suppu, varo ulko, heti paskaa oikeeri plus aukee 4, ja spoori pitkä oikee nopea plus helppo, heti pirun pitkä K vasen 100, ja spoori lyhyt vasen nopea plus helppo sumppu, lyhyt vasen nopea, heti oikee nopea plus helppo spoori, 15 paskaa pitkä vasen nopea. Huomio, pitkä oikee nopea aukee.
Remember, these roads are completely wet. And Mäkinen's dealing with 300 horsepower attached to his right foot.
Pitkä paha vasen. Aukee ja kirraa tosi kapee. 2. Pirun pitkä oikee nopea miinus. Huomio kirraa ihan vähän. 2. Pitkä vasen nopea miinus. Heti. Lyhyt oikee nopea aukee heti. Ja oikee 3. Pitkä vasen nopea. Ja oikee täys 3. Spoori pitkä oikee eri 3. Tarkasti spoori, pirun pitkä K oikee, vähän helppo sumppu. 7.
Caught out by excess water on the road, this was Mäkinen's 2nd retirement in his many rallies.
Our information was a little bit more dry what it was, and so we came out from the right corner into the 50 meters straight, and then again to the right corner. It was suddenly full of water, this straight, and we kept on aquaplan, and there was nothing to do anymore. It just slide off.
Choosing the tyres at the moment is really difficult. You're compromising, trying to judge what the weather's going to do over a long period of time, and I think overall it was probably a good tyre choice, but he was caught out by one heavy downpour, and that's the way it goes.
So with Mäkinen out, here's a look at the way things stacked up after stage 10. Panizzi increases his lead 34 seconds over Grönholm. Coming up the last 2 stages, but first crank it up because we're going for a wild ride on board in Corsica.
Para derecha buena más corta en quinta, izquierda ras. Para izquierda más corta en quinta, izquierda poco y ras. Esa para derecha viejo corta ras, 2. Izquierda rápido ojo mucho ras. Para uno corto frenando Sassar. Derecha buena en tercera, se tira ras. Fin, Sassar. Para izquierda que corta, para 1. derecha, buena más, poco tarde sucia, se cierra Rasfin, Sassar, para izquierda en cuarta, de tierra poco y Ras. Acá buena más, ojo, poco tarde de tierra, frenando, para derecha buena en tercera, se tira poco y Rasfin, para uno corto, izquierda corta en cuarta, de tierra poco y se abre, frenando, acá izquierda buena menos, poco tarde, se tira poco y Ras. Para derecha buena más, Ras, se abre, 2. Izquierda buena más, ojos de tierra y mucho Ras. Sassar, para derecha buena más, Ras, se abre, abrir, se acaba acá en cuarta, de tierra Ras, Sassar. Para izquierda acá en cuarta de tierra, para uno corto, Sassar, derecha acá poco posible cuarta de tierra, mucho y Ras. Para uno corto, izquierda caliente de tierra poco y no cortar, Sassar. Para derecha acá corta de tierra poco y Ras. Para izquierda buena más corta de tierra, para derecha acá corta de tierra poco, Sassar. Para izquierda buena en tercera poco tarde de tierra, frenando, acaba media corta, en fin puente, no cortar, Sassar. Para derecha media más de tierra y no cortar, Sassar. Para izquierda acá, para uno, derecha buena más, se cierra. Para izquierda calenta sucia, de tierra poco y Ras. Frenando Sassar, para derecha buena menos. Sassar mucho, para izquierda calenta se tierra, Sassar. Para a fondo, derecha casi tierra poco y Ras. Acá buena más, poco tarde tierra Rasfin con C. Para izquierda buena más, se tierra. Frenando, para derecha buena corta Ras. Frenando Sassar, para izquierda media poco tarde se tierra, después puente. Para uno corto, derecha brisa, derecha calenta se tierra y muchísimo Ras. Sassar. Para izquierda calenta de tierra, Sassar. Para derecha buena en tercera de tierra, Ras. Para izquierda acá corta de tierra a fondo. Para derecha buena más, ojo, Ras, se abre a fondo. Acá buena más corta en quinta a fondo. Para uno corto, izquierda buena más en quinta, en sucia de tierra, Ras. Para derecha rápido, ojo corta. Para izquierda rápido, ojo corta, Ras. Abrirse 2. Izquierda frenando, izquierda buena menos, Ras. Se abre. Acaba buena más de tierra, más en tercera. Para derecha acá en cuarta, poco tarde de tierra, Ras. Y se abre. Abrirse, acaba derecha acá en cuarta de tierra y mucho Ras, 1. Izquierda acá corta, frenando, acaba buena en tercera sucia y se tira Ras, Sassar mucho. Para derecha buena menos, se tira poco y se abre. Izquierda derecha buena más, ojos de tierra poco, Sassar. Para izquierda buena más, se tira Ras, Sassar. Para derecha acá en cuarta de tierra con C. Para izquierda buena más corta, 2. Derecha rápido, ojo corta de tierra Ras. Para izquierda buena más en quinta de tierra poco y Ras. Para derecha rápido, ojo sucia, se abre. Acaba derecha acá en cuarta de tierra Ras, un grado más, Sassar. Para con C, izquierda buena más, sucia, se tierra y se abre. 1. Izquierda acá corta en cuarta, Sassar mucho. Para derecha acá en cuarta de tierra poco y Ras. Para izquierda brisa, izquierda acá sucia, se tierra poco y Ras, Sassar. Para derecha calenta, V, se cierra mucho, un grado más, Sassar. Derecha, calenta, V, se cierra mucho, un grado más, Sassar. Para izquierda buena más, ojo corta, acá buena más, ojo sucia, se cierra. Para derecha acá corta, frenando, para izquierda media más en puente, 2 veces se cierra y se abre.
And so to the day's last pair of stages. After only being 14th quickest on 10, the changing conditions meant Colin McRae was second fastest on both stages 11 and 12.
Into 6 left, 30, 3 left plus line, and long 3 right. Into 4 left plus opens, 30, long 5 left plus line, and long 4 right ruts. Into 2 left minus, tightens long, don't cut. 30, 6 left, tightens line, into slow 4 right, opens. Into 4 right plus opens, and long 6 left minus, don't cut. Into 6 right opens.
Solberg, however, wouldn't be so fortunate. Another puncture on stage 12 cost the Norwegian around 30 seconds.
Opens 40, line into late 3 left plus. Opens 80, early 6 right plus, 60, flat 6 left, 100, slow keep left over bump into 4 left minus long, tightens half 2, and 4 right minus, opens 120, line into 4 right plus, tightens over bridge, into 5 left minus extra long, opens, and line into don't cut 4 right, 5Ks, don't cut 4 right, opens 200, line into 4 left minus long, tightens 3 plus, long, opens 30, line into 4 left minus, opens 60, 3 right plus, extra long tightens, opens 100, line into 2 left plus, 30, 3 right minus half long, slippy at end, opens keep in 30, open hairpin left. Opens, early 6 right plus, into flat 5 left plus long, opens 120.
Day 2 ended in the same way as Day 1. A Peugeot 123. Burns' stage win wasn't repeated, but he'll start the final day in 3rd place. No stage wins today for Marcus Grunholm, but he's happy enough tonight, 2nd place behind Panizzi.
Oikein nopea ja vasen pirupitkä eri tiukka kirraa. Oikein täys 8. Vasen nopea sisältä jatkuu, vasen pirupitkä nopea, lopussa ryyniä. 7. Ja oikein nopea kiviä sisällä suppu. Vasen pitkä hidas. 5. Oikein tiukka, hurat. 5. Vasen hidas, kirraa. Oikein eri. 8. Oikein pitkä hidas, serpo, kallio sisällä. Vasen pitkä eri miinus, kirraa, suppuu. Oikein pitkä nopea kirraa. Vasen nopea kirraa. 5. Oikein hidas.
The Frenchman was fastest on both the last 2 stages and so returned to Ajaccio with a lead of over 41 seconds. 4 more stages are now all that stand between Panizzi and his 2nd win here in 3 years.
Sur gauche 95, très long, rail. 80 mètres. Droite 90 long plus. 50 mètres. Gauche ferme 95. 40 mètres. Droite 85 long. Pour gauche à fond. 50 mètres. Droite 95, presque plus de coups. Gauche ferme 95 2 fois. Droite 95 long plus. Attention dans gauche 90 plus. 80 mètres. Gauche 95 presque plus. Pour droite à fond. Dans gauche 95. Pour droite à fond. 80 mètres. Droite à fond sur gauche à fond. Droite sans plus bref. Gauche à fond. Sur droite à fond. 100 mètres. Gauche sans plus. 80 mètres. Gauche ferme 90 long.
This is how the leaderboard stands after 12 of the event's 16 stages. Peugeot are poised to pick up the maximum 16 manufacturer points. Just over 20 seconds separate 4th, 5th, and 6th places, while Solberg will start the final day determined to take some points home from Corsica.
Richard, the end of another good day for you. Can you and will you be allowed to catch Marcus Grunholm tomorrow?
I don't know about being allowed, you know, with 3 cars in the top 3, I'm sure Peugeot, they want to keep that, but also there's only 2 of us can score points for manufacturers, so I think it's open. We can, as far as I know, do what we want to do.
Do you think Richard then is going to be fast out of the blocks? He's going to try and catch you first thing?
I don't know, maybe yes, he will try. Of course, it's not so much to get, so let's see.
The rally is difficult and I continue to push for keep the good concentration. And the car is fantastic.
Don't forget to join us tomorrow for the final leg of the Tour de Corse. And if you missed any part of this weekend of rallying, catch Rally Extra. So Tommy Mäkinen will play no part in what promises to be a thrilling final day of the Rally of France. Gilles Panizzi, meanwhile, will be hoping that he can avoid a similar fate. From the island of Corsica, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Good night.